Hey guys! Okay, let's get real. Do you sometimes feel like life's just a never ending loop of wake up, drink coffee, go to work, waste countless hours scrolling online, eat, watch TV, maybe read a book, sleep, and then repeat? Have you ever really thought, is this really it? Guess what? You're not the only one. I help people just like you, well, and me, to get unstuck. I'm bringing on amazing guests who will inspire you, challenge you, and maybe even blow your mind. Let's face it, if you keep doing what you're doing, you're going to keep getting what you got. But lucky for you, I know exactly how to help. With a little bit of woo and a whole lot of you, it's time to unstick your stuck and shake that thing up. Let's do this on Beverly Explains It All. Hi, guys. Welcome to Beverly Explains It All. I'm your questioning queen, Beverly, and I am here with the wonderful, lovely Tarsha Richardson. Tarsha is a Black travel curator. Hey, Tarsha, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good. I'm very excited to finally have you on the show. I feel like we've been going back and forth, and I'm like, okay, the people need to know about this because I, for one, am very excited about what you do.
Okay, great.
All right. Well, always start my show off with like a little icebreaker game, just like, 3 questions, yes, no, super simple. Are you down to play?
Sure, I'm ready.
Amazing. Okay. Well, my first question is, do you believe that luxury travel is accessible to everyone, regardless of their background?
Yes, I do. Many curators provide payment plans. You can pay over 2 years, so to make it affordable for you. And luxury can be different levels. So luxury doesn't always have to be 5-star. It can be, there's different levels of luxury travel.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna try to get more into that because that is speaking my language. Especially, wait, I won't even go down that road because let me ask my questions because I am with you on that.
Okay.
All right, my next question is, do you believe that experiencing new cultures can help someone feel less stuck in their own life?
Yes, I've experienced that personally, but yes, I do believe so because I think when you experience different cultures, and I think we kind of conversation about this before, you see that everyone wants the same things, but some of us have different resources. So I think when you see different cultures and how they use their resources, it really helps you to see how you can use your resources to get unstuck. So I think it's very important to experience the world in different cultures.
Oh, I love that. Yes, it's the truth. Okay, my last question is it true that solo travel can be a powerful experience for personal growth?
Yes, being a introvert, I will tell you, solo travel has really helped me
Mm,
because before where I would have fear to do certain things, because I
mhm.
solo travel, I had to build relationships with people, be more vocal. It has helped me in my professional career to help me to just push forward more, to be more bold. So solo travel helped me alleviate a lot of fears that I had so that I could, just like I say, be more bold, be more
Yeah.
vocal, do more than what I thought I could do.
Really just live life and don't let life live you, you know?
Right. And you realize life is so short and you just have to go for it and let the
Mhm.
chips fall where it may.
Well, you're definitely speaking my language. We had a chat, so I know a little bit about you, but do you mind telling my listeners just like what you're all about?
Well, my name is Tarsha Richardson. I started Black Travelers International in 2021 because of my love for travel. Before Black Travelers, I spent 20 plus years in the tech industry, building back end systems for a lot of companies, helping them scale their organizations. So when I started Black Travelers International, I took my experience as well as my love of travel and made a company that could speak to, I will say, us. We open people's eyes to traveling, letting people know it's safe to travel. We try to provide a safe environment so that people can experience travel and step out of their common norm and step out of the box so that they can open themselves up to different experiences that they wouldn't normally have if they didn't travel, if they just stayed in their, say, community and just stayed with the same experiences that they always have.
That's what life is all about to me. I'm a
Mm-hmm.
person, I love to travel. I've never done solo travel, I've told you before, which I think, I mean, I don't know, speaking with you, it sounds very exciting. I love the fact that you're an introvert and you kind of like use this as a vehicle to kind of get yourself out there. But before we even jump in talking about that more, I kind of want to go back to one of those icebreaker questions that we were talking about. Just the topic of luxury. So, you're changing how we think about luxury travel for Black women, and not just Black women, all women and people, guys too, right? But specifically Black women. How are you doing that, and what does luxury mean to you?
Luxury can have different definitions. Some people think of luxury as I have to spend $1,000 a night on a hotel room. It has to be this experience where I have a butler, someone waiting on me hand and foot.
That's
Some
the
people can't
dream.
afford that. Some people want that. That is fine. But
Sounds nice.
you can also have a sense of luxury where you're in very nice accommodations, where you have private transfer, private tours. You may not have to dine at a Michelin star restaurant every night,
Right.
but you have more upscale restaurants. And then you may add in mid-scale restaurants because you want to experience everything. And sometimes the more expensive price tag isn't always the best.
Yes.
So we try to find the best experiences. Because our groups can vary in age range, we have mid-level, say, walk-in excursions. We also provide free days so that people can either relax, decompress, because I know me and other introverts, we have to step back sometimes and take that time for ourselves so we then can come back tomorrow and interact with the group again. So we provide that in our tours so that we can kind of customize it towards everyone. Some people want to go nonstop, say 8 days, but then there's others like, I need a break. I can't.
And I love that. I love that within a tour group because you guys go together. I mean, if you kind of like walk us through the experience, how does it even start? Because I've done tour groups, but I've done them and kind of like met them once I was there. But your tour group is just together, right?
So how we structure our tours is people sign up for our tours on our website. So we have a couple of mixers before so that we make it fun where we'll send out, sometimes we'll send out information on the destination. So we may have a mixer where it's a trivia, where you break out into groups and you may have to answer the questions and the winners may receive a prize. Depending on the size of the group, determines how many, breakout rooms and sessions we have. But it's opportunities for people to know each other, get to know each other, to meet each other, even though it's virtually. If we see that we have a lot of people in one, say, state that are coming on the tour, we may show up in person to have a get together. And that's pretty rare for us. So the virtual mixers usually work a little better. So we have a few of those. So then we try to see who's coming in together to connect them so that they can lean on each other coming in, but we meet in the destination country.
Yeah.
And so that first night we'll have a welcome dinner so that everyone can reconnect. And then usually the second day, we try to have an activity where people can socialize versus just say a tour where they're going around the city. We try to have maybe a cooking class. So that helps build bonds a little sooner so that people can connect and have those friends throughout the remainder of the trip.
I think that's so cool. And it's so encouraging because if you are going solo, it's like, well, you've already met somebody at the mixer, you've met somebody virtually, and you can kind of see who you're bonding with. You don't feel so alone. And then once you're actually there, you kind of already seen that face. You get to kind of reconnect in person. I think that's such a genius way of making someone not feel so alone on, a destination travel experience. That's really cool to me.
Yeah, and then we noticed too, when we do that, when we have those interactions, the group turns out to be a better group. They build a friendship, and a lot of them say, oh, we want to travel again together or,
Yeah.
have a reunion versus when we don't, we've noticed in the past when we don't have those interactions, the group is not, they don't gel together
It's a
as
little
well.
disjointed.
Yes.
It's like you get that connection right away and you feel a little more secure because it's like, oh, you've never done it. Well, I've never done it and we can bond together. And that's really cool. I'd love it if you tell me because I'm such a novice at this. I'm like, I don't want to say I'm a scaredy cat, but I kind of am. And I'm like, God, I can't imagine going on a solo trip. But for someone who's thinking about their first solo trip, what are the most important things to remember?
I guess I would say the most important things to remember are to be open, to be friendly. We try to encourage our people. We tell people we have a travel etiquette information that we give them. So we ask them to be open, to be friendly. If you are
Mm.
not looking to make friends, a group trip may not be the best option for you.
You might want to be solo dolo.
Exactly. Because usually we notice when people aren't open to being friendly and making new friends, they really want to do their own thing. And that is really not the goal of a group tour.
That's not the vibe.
Yes.
Hmm.
So and like we said, we try to do everything to make it an enjoyable experience for everyone. So we always, ask that you be on time, you be courteous to others, because being on time is being courteous to others.
Exactly. Yes.
And then you have to be a little self-sufficient because if you're not on time, then we'll provide you with the information so that you can catch up with the group. But like I tell people, you can wait on the bus, but the bus will not wait on you.
Okay.
We
Bye.
can't, yes, we can't, hinder everyone else's experience because you wanted to sleep in late or but
Right.
that's
That's
just
not
a little
fair.
extra.
That's not what
Yeah,
it's all about. We've
correct.
all paid money for this. Let's do it.
Exactly. And you want your experience and you want us to follow what we said we were going to deliver.
Exactly. Oh my God. That's also another thing where you're speaking my language because I like organization. I like plans. I love a schedule. And that's me, And I love that you said that your group is flexible enough where, if some people, I've learned that over the years, my sister and I have very, very, very different vacation styles. She likes to go on vacation and just relax. I'm
Yes,
like, I need to be in a tour group. I need to go see the city. I need to eat the food. I need to experience the culture. She's like, leave me on the beach, do what you want, and we can reconnect at dinner. So I love
exactly.
that. Yeah, everybody, and she's entitled to it. I'm just
Yeah,
miserable though when nothing's planned and I'm just like laying there and I'm like, all right, we've done the beach for an hour. Now what? What are we gonna do? You know?
exactly.
So it sounds like you
It's-
plan and have something for everyone.
yeah, so we like every afternoon at the end of the day, we let you know what time we're leaving tomorrow and what's on the itinerary.
Awesome.
So that if you choose not to participate, that is fine. We're leaving at this time. If you want to do something different, that is okay. But for those who want to do something, here's the itinerary
Uh-huh.
that was planned, and be here on time, and you can enjoy that.
Right. That's it.
Mhm.
So, for people who like to travel, but they might be fearful of traveling alone, especially if they're introverted, what makes it easier and less stressful? I know you can speak from
Um,
experience.
yeah, I would say what makes it easier and less stressful is having a planned itinerary, knowing beforehand what days are free,
Mhm.
so that we can also assist you with finding other optional excursion that you may want to participate in. Also, having access to the group that is going on the trip, you may meet someone that says, say on one of the lives or one of the info sessions, I'm sorry, one of the mixers
Mhm.
that wants to say do a flying dress photo shoot.
Ooh,
So
neat.
you and that person may say, okay, let's do a flying dress photo shoot. Let's do it on this day. So that makes it easier for people who are introverts,
Yeah.
to kind of come out of their shell and not feel fearful because it's probably someone on the trip that wants to do something on that free day, the same thing you want to do. So
Yeah,
I think
easily.
that makes it less stressful.
100%. I agree. All right. So you are a Black travel curator, and
Mhm.
I love because I'm a Black woman, for those who don't know. I love that it's like specifically geared towards us because, a lot of Black people might be fearful to travel on their own, just because of the political climate and the way things are, and just people, women in general. But I'd love it if you could tell us what are some amazing but maybe less known places you tell Black women or just women in specific to put on their travel bucket list.
Oh, there's so many. Panama has a large, I would say, Black population. You know, what I've noticed, and not to get sidetracked, but
Mhm.
Black culture is everywhere, or I would
Yeah.
say Afro culture is everywhere. We're going to south of France
Oh, I want to go.
in 2026. Yes.
Okay, so what
And
you're telling me is save my money. Okay, I hear you.
we have
I can
payment
read these
plans.
messages.
So we found some African, I forget what but we're doing a tour of the African culture in Nice. You know, there is also in Amsterdam, but
Ooh,
it is everywhere. You just have to search and find it. But far as places I would tell Black women, you know, a lot of us, some of us are afraid of safaris.
I'm not trying to be eaten by a lion. I can hear somebody now.
It's an experience
Oh
like
gosh,
no other.
man,
You do not have to go camping in a tent. It's up to you. We
that's next
don't.
level.
Yes. For instance, when we do a safari, we're at a lodge. The
Yeah.
lodge usually overlooks, is up on a hill or in the
Oh,
tree, you know, sitting
yes.
up high. So you really don't have to worry too much about animals coming in
What
and
country are you visualizing when you're saying this? Or have you experienced, should
Zimbabwe,
I say? Say again.
Zimbabwe,
Zimbabwe.
Zimbabwe, Botswana. This fall, we're going to Kenya and Tanzania.
Oh man, I have a cousin who's in Tanzania right now. It's like somewhere I've never thought like, oh, I want to visit Tanzania, but then I see the pictures and I'm like, oh, I want to visit Tanzania.
Yes, it's so much beauty out there. And even in Asia, parts of Asia, we're going to Tokyo, we're doing Beijing and Hong Kong as well.
Wow.
So, but there's so much culture, and it doesn't always have to be Black culture because our culture is
Mhm.
infused with every culture, but there's so much culture out there. And we try to include cultural experiences. But I just want to help people move. Nothing's wrong with the Caribbean, nothing's wrong with Europe, but there's so many other places for us to explore.
Right. Not
Um,
just the norm. Like, of course, we're gonna go to, the Bahamas, but of
correct.
course, yeah, France, of course. But like you said, Tanzania, South Africa, because I think a lot, and I won't say a lot, I'm not gonna speak for everybody, but some Black people are afraid to go to Africa because it's
Yes.
it's a huge continent. You don't know which countries are safe. We don't know because people, some people are like, oh, you're Black, so you know Africa. I don't know Africa. I was born in Maryland. So I'm like, where can I go where I feel safe? Because one, I am a woman. Two, I'm an American. And Africans know when you're not African. They're gonna be like, girl,
As
you
soon as
might
you
be
open your
Black,
mouth.
but you're not African. So I'm like, how do you make sure people feel safe? How do we know where to go? I mean, obviously you've done the research for us, but like how do we even get over the stigma of like, okay, Africa actually can be safe or other countries can be safe?
We have to retrain ourselves because a lot of it's not just what everyone has been fed about Africa.
Mhm.
A lot of people think it's poor, it's unsafe. That is not the case. I mean, there are areas that is happening,
Just like
but
America.
exactly. But I've never felt unsafe there. I have more apprehension here than over
Oh,
there. Over
wow.
there, I've exhaled and I can relax, excuse me, versus here, you're always and we're so fast paced on the grind.
Yeah.
There is laid back, calm in most countries. But what we do to try to help people feel relaxed, we educate them on the culture norms of that country.
Mm.
We also, because we've been there, we built connections with different vendors, different hotels. So we stay in nicer touristy areas,
Uh-huh.
but we do go into some remote areas if it's safe. But we
Okay.
have certain vendors that we work with, like we're not just pulling anyone off the street to say, hey, take us to this village.
Hey, dude, we'll give you an extra $10. Just show us around. No, no, no.
Exactly. No,
Yeah.
there is a structured vendor that we vet to make sure that they're registered in that country, that they provide safe tours. Because you have to realize too, you're dealing with people in another country. Their laws are different. You want to make sure you're not just sending your money and you're being scammed, because that happens too.
Right.
That happens too with a lot of people. People don't show up to do certain tours. So we look at reputable vendors that have a presence, that have been there a period of time, that can provide the level of service that we want. And we do have certain rules for them to follow, because we are a group that caters towards Black women. And some things that as Black, mostly American women, we see as offensive, other countries don't. So we have to train them on how to interact with our ladies in a lot of situations.
That's so interesting, because my next question was literally about to be, what are some cultural things that people might get wrong when they travel, and how can we avoid those mistakes? Because, we don't want to be offensive ourselves.
Right. So we try to, as much as we can, I hate to say this, let's leave the ugly American attitude at home.
Yeah. We are not superior. Look at what's going on.
Yeah. I try to tell people, you have to be humble. You have to realize that, I'll just say, going to Ghana, I always tell people, we live in a fast-paced environment. They're laid back. We're used to fast food. Everything with them is made from scratch. So it takes longer. Sometimes substitutions, you ask for substitutions, you may not get what you want, because that, a lot of time, I've never had that play out well.
You get what's on the menu.
Exactly.
Pick something you can eat.
We're used to having everything catered towards us in some sense. Other countries don't do that as much. And there's not a variety in some countries as it is in the US. I just try to educate people. And, we were in Rio, the lady kept calling us girls, girls. Now, that's not offensive to them. But Black American women who are at a certain age, you call them girls, it kind of it
was like calling a man a boy. It's like, wait a minute. Excuse me.
So it's like, no, you can't say girl, just say ladies, And I had to have that conversation, we were in Egypt, you have to say ladies, you can't say girls.
So you actually told them?
Yes. Like I tell them, those are our cultural norms that are offensive to us. Also, we come from a country that, through slavery, we had so many rules, things we couldn't do. So when people go on vacation, they don't want all of these rules. There are certain rules that we know are important, but you have to give them time. So say, for instance, we're going somewhere shopping, you have to give them time to shop. You can't rush them. Yes.
Yes, please.
You have to give them adequate enough time so that they can be free, because when they go back home, they're going back into a system sometimes where they have a lot of rules. So I try to make our guides mindful of that. And if we need to, what we've done is we try not to pack so much activity into a day where there's not free time. Yeah. And that's a mistake. I'll be honest, that's a mistake we made in the beginning. We thought, we want to give people as much activity, but
keep them going.
Yes.
Yeah.
But then you realize people don't want they want some free time.
Yeah. You get burnt out.
So we had to
as much as I like to go, I equally like laying in that comfortable hotel bed at the end of the night. Because I'm just like, yes, this is why you are here. It's like you want to see all the culture, you want to experience all the things, meet the new people, but it's also exhausting.
Yes. Yeah. So we had to make those adjustments, with a lot of our tours.
I get it. Can you share a story where learning about a culture really made a trip special? And I know that's a thinker. I mean, with that, I was going to also ask you, can you name some of the countries that you just love that you've visited? And maybe that will even jog maybe like a story about learning about a culture maybe you didn't know about, or your tour group didn't know about. Because even when you said Asia, like when I think of Asia, I'm gonna tell you the truth, I don't think about Black people. That's not what comes to mind right away. So
we are there. We've been there. I didn't think of Black culture in Amsterdam. I was like,
no,
really?
Not at all.
There are Black museums. I can digress on that. We're planning that now. But so some of the places I've been to, I guess some of my favorites is Cartagena.
Ooh, that's Colombia. And it's safe?
Oh, yes.
Let the
Yes.
people know. Because sometimes when you hear Colombia, you're like, and that's
You
the
know,
city.
yeah, and I hear that a lot. It's safe. You have a large expat community in a lot of the major cities. Colombia, I've been to Colombia, I believe, 5 times.
Wow. Oh, jealous.
It's one of my favorites.
Okay. And I
Ghana
feel
is
like the safety in numbers, it's like feeling with the group, I would feel more secure. I mean, obviously, I'm not just going to go anywhere by my doggone self, but like knowing I'm like, oh, I got a group of women with me, like I feel more secure. And someone like you who's been so many times. I love that. But okay, keep going. Sorry to interrupt you.
And just to tell you a story about that, I took a group last year to Colombia. One of the ladies I took, she was like, "Oh, I don't know about Colombia. I heard it's not safe. I don't think I want to go." And so she was gonna not go at the last minute, but then she decided to go. So she loved it. She was like,
Okay.
"Oh my God, I love it." And she loved Palenque. Palenque is the first free town for Blacks in Americas that escaped slavery. And
Oh,
they started their
wow.
own town
Oh, wow.
outside of, in Cartagena. So just February, she went back and she took her son. So she went kind of solo. Her son is younger, he's about 12. She was like, I just want him to experience it. And, when she was going, originally her friends were like, why are you going there? It's not safe. Are you going there just to have some medical procedure? They couldn't believe she was going to, just experience the country.
You're going to get some cheap plastic surgery. We know what you're doing over there. Get a neck
So,
lift.
right. So believe it or not, she is leading the June tour to Cartagena
Wow.
this year.
I mean, think about that. She almost didn't go.
Exactly.
You don't know
And when I
what
said, "Do you
you
want?"
could be
I
holding
said, "Do you
yourself.
want Cartagena?" I'm sorry.
You don't even know what you could be holding yourself back from.
Right. And so she was like, "This would be her third time going."
Wow. And leading.
Yes, leading. Yeah. So exactly. She's like, that is one of her favorite places. And so I was like, yeah, I'm gonna eventually get a condo there. She's like, yes, so I can visit more often. I'm like,
Oh my God. Wow. I mean, that's literally life changing. That trip changed her life. And I love to
yeah.
hear it because, I'm trying to help people become unstuck in life. I'm in the
Mm-hmm.
process of just making sure I don't stay stuck in life because it's such a miserable feeling. But think about it. If she held herself back, didn't experience Colombia because she was fearful or just, didn't want to take that leap, she never would have ever had a place there. She wouldn't be leading a tour group and she
Right.
just wouldn't have the experience in life that now, like the enriched life she has now. That's amazing to me.
And then side note, she texted me yesterday and she's like, oh, I have this couple, that I know I'm trying to get them on a June trip. And she was like, asking me questions and different things. And I'm like, wow, she went from, like you said, fearful to now she's leading the trip. She's come back. Now she's leading the trip and trying to bring others on.
That is
So,
fantastic. I mean, it's just like you're saying, we can't be fearful of all these things. And it is scary. I mean, especially as an introvert, but just
mhm,
thinking of a solo travel experience, it is scary because also I believe as women and Black women, we've been kind of taught to be somewhat fearful
yes.
and, to really watch our backs, watch where we go. So I love that you're creating the space for people to not be so fearful and to really live their lives. The question I have now is, where are some places that are really welcoming to Black travelers and what makes them so great?
Ghana is very welcoming. What makes it so great is when you're in the US, I would say sometimes you're the minority, you might be the only one, and you're moving around the US with different people, which is no issue. But when you go to Ghana, you're just being. Everyone looks like you. It's not
Yeah.
until you open your mouth that they realize, okay, you're not.
You're not from here.
Yes. But there's so many Americans and people from the diaspora moving to Ghana
Mm,
that it's becoming common. So in Ghana, you can just take a plane. Well, I would say people that have gone. Yeah, I know when you just go to Ghana, when your first time, you're a little fearful. But for me, take a plane, take a flight over there, get a cab, take me to where I'm going to stay. It's not really. It's like being home, and I move around with no issues. Another place that's welcoming is South Africa. It's really welcoming. Oh, South America is welcoming as well. We talk about Rio, but there's other cities outside of Rio that are very welcoming. Because on my last tour, I had a lady she was trying out different cities because she was relocating to Rio.
Wow.
Costa Rica is very
Ooh.
welcome. Let me see where welcoming, welcome. I mean, a lot of us do Europe. I won't say anything negative. I think that your experience in Europe depends on you.
Mm.
We also, I would say, we have to realize the energy that we bring to certain situations
Yeah.
because sometimes we come with a defensive energy, maybe sometimes combative energy. And sometimes what you
Mm.
put out there is what you're going to get back. So you have to be mindful of that as well.
Very true. Where's the favorite, or where's a favorite place that you have been personally that you love?
Again, I would say South America.
America.
I've been to different places in Europe. I've been to Africa. We're just moving more into Asia. And and I think the reason why I love, and I've been to Canada, but I think the reason I love South America is because I grew up in Miami. So I grew up in more of a Spanish
Yeah.
culture, hearing a lot of
The
Spanish,
Cuban influence.
right, and even the influence from the islands. So when I go to South America, it it's similar, I would say. And of course, I love Africa as well. I've been to several countries. We just did a Ghana, Togo, and Benin. There is a language barrier when you go to, say, a Togo, Benin, or say a Senegal, because they mostly speak French.
So how do you work with that?
We usually have someone that speaks English to translate. But I
Okay.
would say a great thing about Ghana and South Africa is they speak English, so it's less of a barrier.
Okay.
That language barrier. So that's why they would be favorites to me because I don't speak French. But
Right.
as far as the people are welcoming all over. But the language barrier is usually for me is why I love those countries more in Africa.
Okay.
Egypt too, you have a lot of people speak English in Morocco, but it's a different vibe in those countries than the West Africa and South Africa.
What would you say the difference is?
What is the difference? I feel more at home in West and South Africa than I do in Northern Africa. Northern Africa, the culture is a little different. I think it's more of an Arab culture, and that's a little different than, yeah, I'll just say it's a little different.
Okay. Yeah. Well, hey, you've experienced both. There's no reason why not to check out both and then form your own opinion. We spoke a little bit earlier about just like the different levels of luxury. And I love that you were saying that because, I've traveled with 5-star luxury vacations. I've traveled with like 3-star. And it's kind of what you can afford in your budget. But what would you say if you can just speak on that a little bit?
Well, like I said before, luxury can be, it doesn't always have to be really expensive. It doesn't have to be the 5-star hotel.
Right.
Because
Doesn't have to be the
sometimes,
Four Seasons.
yes, because sometimes, the 5-star hotel isn't, I don't want to say the best, but maybe not, maybe it's not suitable for your group. For instance, you may find a 4-star hotel that is in the center of everything you want to do. So it's in walking distance to all the major attractions, where you might have a 5-star that is a distance away. So now it is luxury, it's
Mhm.
luxurious, but now every time you want to go somewhere, you have to hop in a car or private transportation to
Uh-huh.
transport you, say, miles away to
Makes sense.
everything that is of interest to you.
Uh-huh.
So a 4-star hotel, which is probably maybe it doesn't have the extensive spa, but
Mm-hmm.
it has a
Mm-hmm.
spa,
Right.
maybe in the center of everything that is of interest, and there may be a spa next door that is luxurious. So you're still having that luxury at a convenience versus a luxury that may be inconvenient.
Exactly. I I'm with that. I mean, I love to find a deal. My husband had never traveled before we got married, and literally, I think at that point I was traveling, even if it was a staycation, like once a month. I'm like, I gotta get out of LA. I'm going crazy. I gotta go do something. But it's like, just being able to find what works within your budget, but it kind of makes you kind of redefine what luxury is to you,
Right.
like. And I am curious to know what luxury is to you. I will say, me personally, if I can go somewhere and I am like, it doesn't have to be 5-star. I'm cool. 3-star works. I've even gone 2.5, maybe. That might be pushing it, especially if we're going on a nice vacation. And we are talking about luxury travel. But I mean, I need a nice bed. I love a room service situation. I might not even use it all the time, but I just love for it to be there. I like to know it's there. I like a spa. Once again, even if I don't use it, if I want to get a massage and I'm going all out, I love it. I am a sucker for a jacuzzi tub in a room. That to me is like, if we have done that, and a lot of people are like, you are so corny. Like, that is not luxury. For me, like when I go to Las Vegas, I'm like, if I have a jacuzzi tub in my room, then I have made it. Like, I am good. I don't have to go out and do anything. I can be in my room all day. But I'm curious, what is luxury for you when traveling?
Luxury is a hotel that is clean.
Yes.
That's
very necessity.
Clean. Yes. Nice bedding, modern facilities.
Which can be hard internationally.
Sorry?
Which can be hard internationally.
Yes.
I know when I went to France, first off, the hotel rooms are about half the size of American hotel rooms.
Yes.
I was not aware. Like, I know I read about it, but it didn't like kind of click until I got in there. And I was like, well, damn, I'm a little larger than I thought. I'm just an American size. I'm not French size. Like, I was like, oh, but I could see the Eiffel Tower, which there was a perk.
Yes.
But yeah, okay.
Room service is important.
Yes.
I would like having a restaurant on site is great as well. Yeah. I never really use the pools, but for our group, I always try to make sure there is a pool. It's not something I personally use, nor do I use a tub personally. So in a hotel, that's just me.
Most hotels don't have them. Most have like showers, which, works.
And then just for me, having access to different areas. I don't want to be secluded. I want to be able to, on my free time, get out and walk or go somewhere. So that's very important for me. And then luxury, I would say transportation is important. Transportation, I would say it depends. When I'm in a group, private transportation is important. Yeah. But when I'm solo, I do Uber and taxi. I get around, however. And then also for me, I don't have to eat every night at an expensive restaurant.
No.
I want a good restaurant.
Yes.
I take good food over expensive. Now, if it's good and expensive come together, I'm great with that.
Right.
But if it's expensive, because I know I was going somewhere in Rio, it was a Michelin star restaurant. Some of them, it's these little boutique, they come out with this little item, then they bring out another little, like a tapas menu. Okay, I'll back here.
And then you got to go to McDonald's afterwards. You're like, doggone it.
Exactly. And you're like, okay, I've spent how much? I could have went to that other place down the street with.
Right.
I
have another question. So why do you think that we're seeing more travel experiences just for Black women? And how do you think that things need to start changing in the travel world?
I think because we are just starting to travel more and we want to feel safe. And because we don't have these experiences of traveling, we don't know what we're walking into. So we want to make sure that we're safe, that we're in an environment that we will be accepted, because we hear a lot of news about us being mistreated around the world.
Right.
So we want to make sure that we're not a victim when we go out there in the world.
I love that. I just have a couple more questions. One just came to me. I'm wondering what you had mentioned earlier, like doing like a cultural cooking class. I'm wondering, what are some of the excursions that your group might offer that are a little, out of the norm, or something that like a person wouldn't really figure out to do on their own? Like when I go to a country or just on vacation, I don't think, oh, let me do a cooking class. But when you said that, one, I'm a foodie and I like to cook. I was like, what a great way to experience the culture. My mouth is literally salivating because I'm thinking of like Colombian food, but I'm like, what a great way to like experience the culture, actually eat good food, make friends. Like, can you tell me more like excursions that you might offer like that?
For instance,
Or
there's
just
so many
excursions in
excursions.
general. Yeah.
So many excursions. I can just tell you off the top of the head what I've been working on lately, planning for upcoming tours. So in Colombia, we do a 3-hour cooking class
Love
where we
it.
cook coconut rice,
Ooh.
different desserts, different food, and we have that lunch with wine. In Ghana, we do a cooking class where we cook a lot of Ghanaian food. We're doing a food tour in London where we'll visit Borough Market. It's a 3-hour tour of different food. We'll try fish and chips, even some German beer.
Okay.
This is just the things off the top of my head I'm working on now. So, and then there's there's this spice tour that we were looking at with African spices,
Oh,
where we
wow.
learn about the different African spices and how to combine them and what goes together well. We do, of course, our flying dress tour in certain locations.
That is my favorite. I've never done a flying dress experience. If you haven't heard of flying dress, make sure you Google it. It's just super cool. You go to a beautiful location, have a
Yeah.
long gown on, and it literally flies in the wind. I'm like, I want to do that.
And so many countries are doing it now. We did it in Cuba, another place I love. We did it in Egypt. They're doing it in Ghana now.
My gosh, were you near a pyramid in Egypt doing flying
You
dress?
couldn't do it at the pyramids. You have to do it in the desert.
Ooh, how
But you can do it.
cool.
Yeah. So you could do it at a hotel near the pyramid. I think you can see the pyramids far off. We didn't do it there, but Greece is a beautiful place to do it as well.
That's where I wanted to do it. I wanted to do it in Greece and I didn't get the chance.
No, you should have
Yeah.
done it.
Now, I brought my own little version of flying dress because talking about the luxury budget travel, I was like, okay, I don't have money for the flying dress experience. So I brought my own, but then all of my luggage got lost in Greece.
Oh,
so, boo-hoo. So sad. But it's another reason I told my husband, I was like, well, now we have to go back. And now that I know you, I'm like, we might need to go back with a group. And speaking of that, do you allow couples or people with like a friend to join those groups?
yes, we do. You can come solo, single. We have couples. We have friends that come together. So, solo people, you can book a single occupancy where you're in the room by yourself. Or if you're looking for a roommate, we can try and match you with a roommate.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah.
Do you allow children?
We do on certain tours. Children have to be accompanied by an adult.
Yes. How dare on my vacations. Like
Exactly. Now,
Yeah.
some tours we don't allow children. I would say we're doing cruises, of course, on Virgin. When we do a cruise on Virgin, you can't have a child. That's adults only.
Oh.
In certain places, yeah, we don't. But most of our tours, the majority, we allow kids.
Okay. That's always good for parents out there to know. It's like no excuse to stay at home. Well, wrapping up, I'm wondering if you can give one piece of advice to someone who's always dreamed of international travel but hasn't taken the leap yet, what would it be?
Oh, well, I do have a motto. Oh, that's long. So this is something I tell people when I can remember. Develop the confidence that you need so that you can have the travel life that you desire.
Ooh, I like that. Develop the confidence that you need so you can have the travel life that you desire.
Exactly.
Yes, sometimes you have to rip that Band-Aid off and just go for it, I know I said this was going to be my last question, but this is really now going to be my last question. Do you only do international travel? Do you do any kind of stateside travel?
Yeah, we do. This year we're doing a cabin in the Tennessee mountains.
Ooh.
Next year, we're looking at maybe doing New Orleans and Sedona. We're not sure which one.
God, what a great way to get out and travel. I'm like, I applaud you just because you're an introvert and you found a way to make this work for your life so you don't be stuck and just not really get to. Basically, you live such an adventurous life. Every year you're traveling, you get to meet all these new people. So I truly applaud you. And I think it's absolutely amazing. Indeed.
You're doing amazing things too. with
Thank you.
your podcast.
I'm trying. Like, don't blink. You're just gonna look up and see me on one of these one of these tours because the south of France is speaking to me. I know everyone is going to hear this podcast and they're going to be super interested in traveling and wanting to know how to get in touch with you and everything you have to offer. So will you please let us know how we can do that?
You can find us at blacktravelersint.com. Travelers has one L. Or if you Google Black Travelers International, you'll see our social media. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram at Black Travelers INT. We're on TikTok, so you can find us. And if you find our website, you'll see links to all our social media.
You make it easy. And of course, I'll have that all in the show notes to make it nice and easy. I know you gave us a nice quote earlier, but do you have a mantra, a quote, or words that you live by?
I would say move past your fear. That's really what I try to live by.
Yes.
I recognize the fear and I acknowledge it and move forward.
God, what inspiring words. It's so true because fear can hold us all back. It does. And it can make you not be the true self you're supposed to be. Can you imagine if you never did your first solo trip?
Yes, I can.
I mean, I think just
I
doing
would
this,
be, I would still be in my previous position, doing the previous things that I was doing before.
You literally changed your own life. And I'm hoping this encourages people, inspires people. Rip the Band-Aid off. There's so much life to be led. You don't have to be solo on a solo excursion. You got wonderful tour groups, just like Tarsha is telling us about. Tarsha, I hope everybody comes and checks out your website because this is really exciting. And international travel is here for all of us. Black women, do not be afraid. We can do this. Thank you for exposing my listeners to this. I really appreciate you.
Oh, thank you for having me.
100%. And I am going to be in touch because I want to hear more about the south of France and Colombia, just everywhere, because I don't feel so alone now. And I appreciate it. So thank you for coming on. And don't be a stranger to our show.
Okay, I will not. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Tarsha. All right, guys, that was Beverly Explains It All. Make sure you check out Tarsha's site. Look in the show notes and you can grab the information there. Bye.